This is the most ferocious monster in the world. Its name is Green. Based on its ferocious appearance, it openly robs banks of money. Not only that, even unrelated people private money is also robbed by them. Present at the scene, unaware of their existence, everyone thought they were wearing masks, and all this finally brought attention to Harry. He was a werewolf. Many revealed his true nature, and playing the role of a psychopath who escaped from prison, Harry couldn't help but be amazed at their intelligence. Suddenly, a thought popped into his head that Wesen had disguised himself as a robber to make money after his uncles immediately ran away from the bank. When they got into the car and returned to their human form. The werewolf couple behind them was still immersed in the exciting action scene. They exclaimed that they were too smart, and surely the other Wensons didn't think so. In this way, they did not know that they would soon have to pay a high price. They quickly arrived at the scene, according to witnesses, and the three robbed were all wearing realistic animal masks. As soon as the garbage asked for details, Harry was right. Also present at the scene, he told Jack that the severity of this incident was beyond imagination because the three robbers all disguised themselves to commit crimes, and they appeared in their original form to normal people. This violates the rules in the world between humans and monster. Once the rules are broken, it is difficult for the police to deal with them. To find out clearly, they went to the interrogation room to find documents inside. The Wesen Code was established in the 16th century. It was the standard for all the Wilson clans to follow in order to integrate the Wilson race into the norms of human society. Other Wilson races also joined. The Wesen Committee has been established. This agency is responsible for monitoring and handling violations, and the most important principle is that Wesen must not let normal people see Y in full form. If Wesen lets people see the true form to take advantage, what will happen if such a thing happen? Then all the other Wesen will also be in danger. The greatest witch hunts of the 16th century. One, do you think that event was it done by witches, but by today bankers? Today's story has attracted a lot of attention, and in 300 years they will likely have to pay a heavy price. In deep thought, as a Wesen himself, he knew who caused this incident. But as a police officer, he needed evidence to prove that those people were the criminals. Even if Harry was a witness, the robbers also used the form of werewolves to commit crimes, but there were no fingerprint on the scene. So how to find them? Harry then thought of a quite impossible way. If this case were to be broadcast on television, all the other Wesen would also be seen. Then they would ask everyone one by one, and they would definitely find clues. In the end, they didn't want to be implicated, so they decided to take separate action and return to the police station to observe the map of the bank and analyze the robbed escape route. At this moment, Harry called and said he found a bar where Wilson frequented. The scene of the Wilson who went there to drink were all impure. Harry felt that they could find clues there. After answering the phone, they immediately went to the address of the bar they met on the phone, but because this bar was only open to the public, and inside, only Harry could go in, they negotiated that if Harry didn't come out within 10 minutes, the two of them would barge in. So Harry got out of the car and entering the bar door. After revealing his identity to the security guards, he carefully went inside. Harry then began to ask people in the bar about Wilson bank robbery, but the people asked all avoided the issue, except for a woman who was always looking at him intently. Coincidentally, at this time the three robbers were also present at the bar where the man Harry had just come to ask about had come to inform the three werewolf robbers leading the way. He looked and realized that Harry was the person he had threatened at the bank, so the three of them immediately rushed in to surround him. Harry was still engrossed in talking to the woman he had just met when he saw the sentence. Harry thought that the three of them had come to provide clues, but as soon as he saw his true form, he realized that the newcomers was the robber he was looking for to avoid getting into trouble. Harry quickly explained that he only asked that because he heard rumors and had no intention of exposing anyone, but he and his accomplice didn't listen and just insisted on beating him. Harry could beat him 1-on-3, so he could only resist the two people outside. BA Restaurant saw the customers inside running out in panic and immediately knew something was going on. One of the robbers saw the police and immediately ran to stop them. After the two sides ended the conflict, Harry whispered to Jack and his other accomplices as suspects after confirming that Jack did not arrest them because there was no evidence to prove that they were the culprits of the robbery to relieve Harry from pretending to check the evidence. In their people letter, his girlfriend said that it was Harry who touched her boyfriend first, which is why both sides started fighting. Hearing this, Jack immediately took the opportunity to say that if that's the case, then they need to be taken to the police station. The police recorded the statement to avoid trouble, and his accomplices said that it was not necessary, just reconcile on the spot. Just like that, Harry was in trouble when he left. Chris' girlfriend even flirted. Sleeping provocative, worried that his identity might be exposed, Jack quickly left the scene. After they returned home, Harry complained why ZCK didn't arrest the robbers on the spot and got agitated. Jack explained that to catch the robbers, he needed evidence. Although they also knew the robber true identities, Harry advised him to put aside his identity as a police officer and use the identity as Wesen to explain the problem. This has gone too far. Know his responsibilities, but the bigger the case, the more he is a police officer, the more he has to follow the rules. After the two trash people left, Hoa proposed asking the Wesen committee to take action. But after Harry thought for a while, he still decided to trust in his ability to solve the case. The next day, the two of them found the address of the bridge. After going inside, they found an abandoned warehouses. Suddenly the floor was painted with paint. They saw a homeless man running out in panic. It wasn't until the two of them stopped the drama that they realized he was being threatened and had to stand guards at the door and ask him who was threatening him. Are they two men and a woman? The homeless man quickly nodded. Knowing that you come here every day, both of them had their own thought, so they decided to go back to the police station to make a plan of action. But on the way back, the fishing crew and their accomplices again robbed the property. This time they were even more aggressive. After taking the money and leaving, they also shot dead the policeman who was chasing them on the street. Then they went to the warehouse to store it, keeping the money. Killing people made Dan worried. He thought that action would cause trouble for them, but he did not regret it. He comforted his teammates with the money he had just robbed. Immediately after that, two trash men arrived at the scene of the incident. The old man said that this time the robbers used the same method. It seemed they would use this method to make money. He looked at the body on the ground and felt guilty. He clearly knew the robber identity but didn't know to arrest them. This incident also made other Wesen worried. They came to Rosa's store and wanted her to contact the Wesen committee to resolve it as the regional liaison. She said, "I will definitely let everyone know." She didn't give a satisfactory answer until they left before she could discuss it with Harry or contact the Wilson Commission to take action. Things had come to this point. Jack couldn't make the robbers pay otherwise. The sheriff police station is constantly receiving cases from many different areas. More and more Wensons follow the sentence direction and appear in full to rob convenience stores to control the captain situation. Sent information about the robbers to the committee. The committee chairman quickly stood up to think about a solution. After analyzing the incident, they realized things were getting out of control and immediately sent someone to solve the problem. This guy and his accomplices saw their actions posted on the bulletin board and were very excited. They even considered themselves to be online celebrities, so their robbery target immediately changed to entertainment, didn't care about the consequences at all. But the guy next to him was scared. He wanted to keep everything a secret so he could spend money freely, but now they have become the object of national attention. He announced that he would quit his job after dividing this money, but he had no intention of letting Dan go. He rushed to beat Dan after defeating him to cover up the clues that his girlfriend had bitten Dan to death at the time. At the police station, two GIAC people also received information from Dan. They went based on Dan's home address, but when they arrived, they only saw Dan's body from the paint on the sole of Dan's shoe, that he might have returned from the warehouse. So the two men walked towards the warehouse, heard footsteps, so they fired their guns continuously. Before they could react, bullet flew out, replacing Jack and his teammates. Hit in time, then the robbers couldn't see anyone, so they could only shoot aimlessly. The two people took the opportunity to rush forward and confront them. Lucky caught Sherry's. She just showed her true form, but again, he was punched and punched. He was beaten to the ground by Jack under Ma's strong fist. He also realized that Jack was Wesen, so he immediately begged for mercy. He was the police and could only rely on him. On the evidence to arrest me now, you can't accuse me. I have to say that Jack is really a person who respects the law. Even though he was arrested, he still smiled very happily. The ending was so unfair. As soon as they arrived at the station, the police officer was still drunk and there was no evidence to prove that he robbed a bank. But as soon as he finished speaking, the gunman rushed out from the crowd and shot straight at the vital points of the two robbers. Look at the captain and understand the rules between humans and Wesen. Once violated, someone will come to deal with the violator. This truth is very simple. This truth